Hello, class. I hope all is well. I find it very hard to believe that we have actually already made it to the end of our public speaking course together. But for my final speech, I will be expressing why history should be taught as a core subject in school. I hope to express and hit on some key factors on why history is an important subject and why I chose this specific subject to be my final public speaking speech. Throughout my speech, I hope to gain the trust of you, the audience, on why my topic is very important. For my first main point, I will be referring back to my audience analysis survey, specifically question number 1 of how important do you think history is on a scale of 1 to 5. 2 people chose 5 and 2 people chose 3. I will then be referring to questions 3 and 4 from my audience analysis survey. For the answers from the people who enjoy history, the first answer was, to understand our past is the way of creating the future. And our second answer from that topic was, the stories were always pretty interesting. Now, from the people who say that they do not enjoy history, the first answer was, we learn about the same things every year since elementary school. It is repetitive, a lot of it is unimportant and not relevant to society today. I think an American history course is important and a world history is important. The second answer was, it can be uninteresting whenever the lessons are a standardized, generic curriculum without input from the ones who are learning the dates. For my second main point, I'll be using the information I learned from the website, Why You Should Learn History by History Careers. The quote is, studying history helps us understand and grapple with complex questions and dilemmas by examining how the past has shaped the global economy today and how it will shape it in the future. And I agree with this point, because if you're not willing to learn from the past, then it is always said that you are destined to repeat the future. For my third main idea, I will be expressing why history truly does matter with a simple quote from the website Why History Matters. History matters because it helps us as individuals and as societies to understand why our societies are the way they are and what they value. That's a very good point. Now, for my fourth main idea, I will be hitting on my next main point of why history is important from a quote from the website UO People's Blog. Studying history allows us to observe and understand how people and societies behaved. For example, we are able to evaluate war even when a nation is at peace. By looking back at previous events, history provides us with the data that is used to create laws or theories about various aspects of society. That's actually a really good point. These two very important points on why history is important, I will be referring back to my main point on why history should be a core subject in school, because if you're not willing to learn about these specific events, then how are you going to be able to prepare for the future after learning about these events if you're not willing to learn about them? Learning history is very important. For my fifth main point, I will be using a source from the website Nord Angela Education. Through history, we can learn how past societies, systems, ideologies, governments, cultures, and technologies were built. That's actually a really fun part about history, is when you're in a history class, you get to see how all these other civilizations got to live at once, or honestly, when you're in a history class, you get to see how that history has shaped the modern world today. How they operated and how they have changed. The rich history of the world helps us to paint a detailed picture of where we stand today, which is basically what I just hit on. Because if you aren't willing to learn about the past, then how are you going to be able to prepare for the future? Because we can't just look into the future. We're living in the present, and the only way for us to learn from our mistakes is by looking at the past. That is why history is so very important. But for my last main point, I'll be using another statement from the website and publisher, DTLK Kids. Scholars say that teaching history to kids has many important benefits. History provides identity. Studying history improves our decision-making and judgment. And I'm going to elaborate off this point a little bit. History is very important to teach kids in school, which actually goes back to my main subject of why it should be taught in every school, because it's important to teach young kids all our past. And I understand that some people may think it's repetitive and just not good, but it's something that must be learned if we want to continue to evolve as a society and a species, the human species. All aspects of history should be discussed in school from the dawn of time of the earth, like literally from the dawn of time of the earth itself to the modern day. History is one of the most important subjects in school that kids should learn. Not only learning about the past could help them in the future, but it could also help the whole world in the future. If you forget and erase history, then history is bound to repeat itself. I can't help but just keep elaborating on that point. If we just keep erasing the history or not teaching it to the kids in school, or kids are just uninterested, then we are bound to repeat it. It's actually happened multiple times in history already. That's something that people that just didn't care about has actually, sparked up another war or something. For example, World War I and World War II. World War I was basically what people thought was a lesson, but it actually was just the flame for the Second World War. All these very important statements that I expressed above are exceptionally important to the end goal that history should be a core subject in school. I hope that my speech may have changed your mind if you were on the leading edge of thinking that history is not as important in school like other subjects such as math and reading. Have a great day, class. Thank you for viewing my speech.